Thanks, Davey. Well, I'll tell you what, one of the cool things about being part of this Nationals crew is being able to ride all the tracks. This is my first time to Mount Morris, one of the most legendary tracks in all of motocross. I'll tell you what, it's got tons of weird stuff going on out there. I'm going to be riding this Sobe Suzuki. They're going to be giving it away at the end of the year. You'll be able to win it. So, you know what? I'm going to try not to ride it too hard, so I'll take it a little easy. But I'll tell you what, we're going to get right out to the track. You're going to go up a steep start straightaway. It's got an all-dirt start takeoff. No cement like they've had in the past couple weeks. Then you're going to go into a couple elevation changes. Uphill, downhill, got some serious ruts. And you know what? Let's just go on board and check it out. Get into these huge ruts here in this track. I'll tell you, it's known for all the ruts. Little double section, double, double, then a single. I'm going to head uphill here. You got to catch the berm, get on the gas. You want to be on the pipe as hard as you can. Get as much momentum going to the top, back on the brakes, through the ruts. Caught these cags throwing inside of me and going. He's a pro. I'm a scrub. Look at these braking bumps on the downhill. Nearly throwing you over the bars. Pick another rut and head down. You can see it's kind of off camber. That's what it's known for here. So many different off camber turns around this back straight. Kind of just straight, fast. Got to get on it here, headed down into a small tabletop. Not really a landing, but I got to get it, get on the pipe. If I had it right now, I don't have it this lap. You got the step up, big step up. Don't do it. Lose tons of time. Check it out. Guy coming up on me, pick a rut, and then you're headed in these off cambers. Very heavy. Pick a line and go straight down. It's not like a berm. A berm comes up and backs you up. This slopes away from you. So it's all about traction and getting back on your gas hard. There's a little double in this jump right here. And then you head into the berm on the top. More ruts. You can see guys don't like the ruts. I don't like the ruts. And headed down into probably the most technical off-camber turn on the track. It swoops away from you. Guys are going to be passing and blocking there. Little step down. And the most slippery turn on the track, I believe. You go inside, you don't have any traction. Outside, you might get checked, and it's going to take you back up into the jump portion of the track. Little tiny step over here. A lot of guys not able to do it. Then into the supercrossy section. Couple double jumps into your finish line jump, and that's your Suzuki Fast Lap.
Well, last week we watched Ricky Carmichael battle with Stefan Roncada through the first lap. It's the first time Carmichael had really been led, and then watch what happens here.
Contact. Stefan doesn't like it, tries to cut him off, and Ricky didn't like that. Watch his answer. Apparently you don't mess with number 4.
You mess with the bull, you get the horns, right, David?
Yeah, apparently. And it resulted in no points on the day for Stefan Roncada, and we asked Ricky about the confrontation.
We came around the mechanics area turn, and I took a different line than he did. Then I was on the inside, and he made a mistake, and I was already committed, so I ran into him.
He was right behind me in the rut, and when I got back on the gas, he hit me really hard on the right side of the bike, and I was really pissed because I didn't know where it came from. It was like, it wasn't even like trying to make a block pass, or it wasn't in front of me. It just like held it wide open and didn't worry about who was in the line, and blocked my front lever right there. And we go into the next straightaway. I jump the tabletop, get on the gas, and try to go as fast as I can to the next turn to get there before him. And next thing I know, he's coming in like balls out. It hits me.
And the thing that I try to tell everybody is, why would I want to hit somebody and jeopardize, you know, hurting myself or hurting my bike to where I couldn't finish a moto?
I just slammed the hay bales, and him, instead of trying to take it easy, just slammed me into the hay bales.
When I hit him, he thought I was trying to kill him, and then he started stopping and looking at me, and then after that, we kind of had to play a game. And, you know, we're not getting nowhere playing games. Everyone's just going to catch us, and I think he needs to realize that.
Yeah, I want it by. I want to take him by, and I can't. And I will.
Well, as we take a look at our Suzuki starting lineup here at High Point Raceway, you see both Carmichael and Stefan Roncada on the grid. And David Bailey, those are fighting words from Roncada.
Yeah, and I think you'll see a different tactic of fighting from Ricky Carmichael. He just lets his results on the track speak for themselves.
Well, the card is almost sideways here for the first moto of the 26th annual Soviet High Point Nationals. Ricky Carmichael's your points leader with a perfect score so far, but you know what? High Point is one of 2 tracks left on the circuit where he has never won a 250 National. The winner of the last 2 High Point Nationals, Team Yamaha's David Billiman. The card is sideways and the gate drops, and we have begun. And right up the middle is John Dowd on big 520 KTM. Guy Cooper on the 540 behind him. At number 4, Ricky Carmichael second. There's Sean Hamlin. A little outside, you see Ezra Luss, Stefan Roncada, and Sebastian Tortelli. A pretty much clean start for all the top runners, David.
Well, this is interesting. You got Carmichael just ahead of Roncada, who already goes to the inside. After what he said about that last week run-in, he says, I can take him and I will.
But Ricky makes short work of John Dowd right at the bottom of the stair steps into the stadium whoops. Carmichael's out front. Before Roncada can hit him, he's going to have to get around Dowd.
And good luck. He's already getting just showered with rocks and dirt heading up that hill. It's such a powerful bike, and it was smart for Ricky to just jump on him right away before he got settled in.
Carmichael, your leader, as we go halfway through the first lap here at High Point Raceway. He's already starting to gap the field, and David, we've said that 4 other times this year in the first 4 motos.
Well, this is what he does. It reminds me of the dominant Jeremy McGrath in Supercross for so many years. He'd get the lead right away and check out, put in the fastest laps of the day, or of the night rather, and just pretty much force everyone to start racing for second place.
Carmichael down into the off-camber. He is on the number 4 red Honda, and he is already pulling away. The track turned out perfect, David. A little bit of rain yesterday. As you can see the ruts in the corners of Stefan Roncada, and now Ezra Lusk both go by John Dowd. Just a perfect track here at High Point.
Nice line by Roncada, the way he jumps down into that GP section right there. This is that corner that Cameron talked about, probably the little slippery corner on the entire racetrack. Billiman getting a little squirrely there. Not a good start for him. He's won here 2 times in a row, and with that kind of start against this year's competition, he's in trouble.
You see the riders come down Bradshaw Boulevard. Carmichael already out of the picture. That is your 3rd place rider, 37-year-old privateer John Dowd, who rides the CernixRacing.com KTM. He is in the middle of a bunch of 2-stroke factory riders, and right now 4th place was last week's big surprise, Sean Hamlin. He's borrowed that Sovi Suzuki from, I don't know, either Kevin Windham or Travis Pastrana. Both of Suzuki's big guns out of the 250 class. Of course, Travis broke his navicular bone last week.
It turns out that's not going to be quite as bad as a lot of people thought. Maybe just 6 weeks in a cast and he should be okay. And Sean Hamlin looks a lot like Travis. I know that Lee McCollum, Travis's mechanic, was doing a little bit of work for him. He's running those hand guards like Travis, and he's running a different gear this week. Different, that no fear gear like Travis is wearing. So at first glance, he looks a lot like Travis, especially since he's number 99.
Yeah, slap a 1 on the front of that bike, and maybe give him about 5 more miles an hour down the fast hills, and he might beat Travis Pastrana. That's Ezra Lusk, the 2nd place rider. And we've been waiting for Ezra to sort of erupt here on this 250 National Tour, David, and it just hasn't quite happened yet. Is Ricky Carmichael in his head, or is this all the faster Lusk can go?
Well, he's trying to build on some.
Oh, right there. He makes a big mistake and gives 2nd place back to John Dowd.
Those kinds of little screwy things that keep happening to Ezra outdoors that keep him from building confidence. You know, instead of being ahead of Dowd and chasing after the leaders right now, and without getting any ruse or wrecking his vision, he's got to deal with getting back around John the 2nd time, which won't be easy, and Tortelli, who's starting to pick it up. And I don't really think Ezra's known for his outdoor skills, and he's trying really hard to improve that this year.
Right now he's going underneath the KTM as they get down the bottom of the off-camera. Now it's a sprint race up the hill, but KTM is down on the inside, and you know what? I think he just gave him that spot.
Well, Ezra somehow was able to stay even with that powerful 520 up the uphill right there, and the way he went around the corner and put him on the inside of the downhill.
Tortelli does likewise. Tortelli makes a pass down the off-camera. That's the 2nd time in as many laps as we've seen Tortelli pass someone down there, what we're calling the GP section of the track.
Well, since he came from the GP and is a world champion, maybe he likes that section.
A little further back, you see Hamlin, and that is Robbie Rayner on the Rayner Modifications Honda, trying to move up in the battle for the top 5 position. Right behind them is Moto Triple X privateer Kyle Lewis.
Look at that triple. A lot of air going up that. It forced them to go a little bit wider in the corners. Those guys both doubled it and were able to help the inside.
right there you saw Hamlin go just a little too far outside and allow Rainer to come in underneath. You know what? That's a pass people make all the time at High Point. Going inside out, whether it's in the last turn or in the first turn, like we just saw Tortelli do to Ezra Lusk.
That corner they just went through, I crashed there.
Whoa, and Tortelli doing the big Dunlop double. That was not a double jump before this year, David. We'll be right back to High Point.
Too bad, but like I said, it seems like the navicular, that could have been a big problem. Those things never heal and wreck careers, but it looks like Travis is going to get through it okay.
And it looks like the rider replacing Travis, Sean Hamlin, is riding very well. He is in 5th place right now, but behind him, here comes veteran Kyle Lewis, number 23 on that big 450 Honda, and he's got Team Kawasaki factory rider Stefan Roncada right behind him. Roncada is not obviously going to get back at Ricky Carmichael on this motor, David.
Nope. Nowhere near him. Nobody is. Even Tortelli, who took a little bit of time out of him that last lap. Ricky turned it back up, though. He's only about 9 seconds back, but I just don't see him able to cut into that margin any more than that. Especially these guys, they're just concerned with each other. This is a great battle they're having.
Lewis in 6th. He's wearing the red and white at the top of the hill, number 23. The orange Kawasaki, I guess orange clothing Kawasaki. Stefan Roncada in 7th tries an inside line. You see Hamlin right in front of them, Villeman right behind them.
And Ferry just poking his nose into that shot. He didn't get a very good start, which surprises me on this uphill start here at Mount Morris, where he has all that horsepower. But Davey, I noticed he was limping pretty bad. I don't think he's 100%.
They come across the infield and up over the big double jump. It's Hamlin, Lewis, Roncada, Villeman, and Ferry. And this is your battle for 6 through 10.
Hamlin taking that outside line, leaving the door open. He gets a good run at the hill, but if they're any closer than that and he goes wide, they're going to make the pass. He's got a lot of, look at all this stacked up behind him.
But you know, what a great way for that kid to learn. I mean, if he wasn't on that factory Suzuki, if he didn't have that boost of confidence, he might be in another group behind these guys. And the only way to learn how to go faster is to go with guys faster than you. And here you see Roncada. He looks like he's actually slowed it down a little bit. And he goes around, gives up the inside to Villeman. Roncada definitely not being aggressive here at High Point.
Not aggressive enough. I thought that's one thing that pretty much everyone agrees that aggressiveness has not been his problem this season, but you also got to look at the craftiness of Villeman through a corner like that. He's done so well here at Mount Morris in the past couple of years. Wet or dry, it doesn't matter. The guy likes this place.
We should also mention that Roncada was another Kawasaki rider who twisted his leg around in practice. He had ice on it, just like his younger teammate James Stewart in the 125 class. Not a completely healthy weekend for Kawasaki, but still, Roncada's not getting the breaks he needs to get up there and race for this championship.
And I thought once these guys reeled in Hamlin, that was going to be that. Just one by one, they were going to sneak their way by, but this kid is doing a great job of holding everybody off. Little mistake right there. He's going to give up some time, but he doesn't seem to be rattled by all this pressure behind him.
Hamlin, number 99 on the Suzuki. Behind him, the veterans, Lewis and Villeman. As we mentioned, Villeman, the winner of the last 2 Sobe High Point Nationals, but under much, much different conditions. In order for the track to get like it was last year, it would take a Hangtown-style rain, David, and it just doesn't look like it's going to happen.
No, it has gotten a little cloudier. There's a little bit of a cloud cover now, which looks like on camera that it would be a little cooler, but don't let it fool you. It's pretty hot and very humid out here, and towards the end of this race, not just the physical aspect of being a little bit tired, but the sweat in your goggles really becomes a problem.
You can see the track starting to rut up nicely here. Down into the bottom, Hamlin continues to lead, and he continues to learn as he goes along, Dave.
He looks good as well, too. You see him blast out of that berm right there, and there's a difference between a guy that gets a start, doesn't really run up there and just sort of tries to survive. He is not surviving here. He's holding these guys off pretty well.
And just like you said last lap, if he leaves that door open, Kyle Lewis is going to go in there and take it from him. And right there's a lesson learned as Lewis goes past him and then in 5th place. And Hamlin comes right back and punches down the hill on Lewis. A very aggressive move. And Lewis is going to come right back and try and take it again. And look, Hamlin is set up on the inside to do likewise. That time there's no chance, Dave.
That's what I like. That's the fight I was talking about. He's just not up there going, well, eventually they're going to get me. He feels like he's a part of this group now, and especially with the factory ride, he probably feels a little extra pressure. And
he's right back up on Lewis as they come down Bradshaw Boulevard, looking back over his shoulder, and now he's got a fight in front and in back of him. and right around Lewis he goes again. Hamlin putting in the most exciting ride of his young pro career.
Yeah, I would feel a little extra pressure, and in fact did when I got stepped up to first class with Kawasaki in my early days. You got 4 or 5 mechanics standing around and going, okay, you know, you've been doing pretty well. Now you have this bike. We expect you to get up there and do at least as well as you've been, which would mean finishing right here compared to how he did the Hangtown. And we've got all these guys lined up wanting him.
Hamlin down into the bottom, tries an outside line. That's going to open the inside. Lewis comes in. They can't jump that Dunlop double like you're seeing Carmichael and Tortelli do it, but he's not from that spot on the track. Now down over the stair steps. It is still Hamlin's 5th, Lewis 6th, Villeman 7th, and Roncada in 8th.
Good. Lewis with that different timing, tripling all the way through there, but it's still not fast enough for Villeman.
And right there, Lewis caught himself looking at the back of Hamlin's rear wheel, and it was all Villeman needed to sneak right past him.
That's what they call Villeman the Cobra for, I think. One of the reasons is he strikes. Right there, he was just waiting for those 2 guys to foul each other up and pick up a position, or maybe both of them. See the lines Villeman uses, going outside into the grass to miss a couple braking bumps. Very smart line choice from David Villeman. I say it all the time, and I'll keep saying it because he's one of the most creative guys out there, and the first to find the new little lines out there that save a 1/10 of a second here and a 1/10 of a second there.
Now Hamlin makes another mistake, and again he was on the outside where we talked about before, and this time it's Villeman who goes past. So Hamlin maybe didn't learn that lesson quite well the first and second time, David.
Yeah, it's hard sometimes for some riders, and
right there he goes past him again. Hamlin, it just gives it right back every time. I mean, full credit to the rookie from Sun City, California. And he is trying the inside there, but there's just no chance. There's one big line on the outside of that really steep off-camber. So Villeman goes by for 5th, but Hamlin right there in 6th. Lewis is 7th, and Roncada holds down 8th as they come down Bradshaw Boulevard.
Well, Team Suzuki's got to know that this kid went out there with this supposedly better bike and more support and tried as hard as he could.
So it's Carmichael, Tortelli, and Lusk. We will be right. Years ago at High Point Raceway, the normally well-groomed track better suited mud bogging than motocrossing. It started raining the day before the race and never let up until the start of Moto number 2 in the 250 class. A first corner pile-up in the first moto left the French duo Sebastian Tortelli and David Villeman, 2nd and 3rd at points respectively, on the ground and trailing the pack. Working together, the two were in the top 6 by the midway mark. By the checkered flag, Tortelli was 4th and Villeman 3rd, just 2 bike lengths behind the winner, John Dowd. In the second moto, Villeman was off the line with the leaders. Only Dowd, Kevin Windham, Ezra Lusk, and Larry Ward were ahead of the former World Supercross champion. With the track worsening, Villeman was able to go all the way from 4th to 2nd on the 3rd lap. From that point on, the race was as good as over. With the victory, Villeman took the overall win and moved from 3rd to 1st in the 250 national point standings. Unfortunately, we do not have a day like that here in 2002 as Ricky Carmichael on the number 4 Honda continues to pull away from the pack. He is well ahead of everyone, David.
And not tripling up that hill like I thought he might. Decided, you know what, inside to inside, and get that bike down to the ground is a little bit faster. He's got Tortelli back there pushing him hard, so if it was faster to triple that, he would be doing it. There's still another double jump that he's jumping, coming out of this right-hander, then the left. He and Tortelli, the only ones doing it that I've seen so far.
Ricky approaches the Dunlop doubles. We shoot back to our 3rd place rider. That's Ezra Lusk on the Kawasaki, and he is trying to reel in Sebastian Tortelli, but right now those 2 Hondas out front are gone, David.
Well, that's pretty much been the story. I was surprised Tortelli didn't do better at Hangtown, really, especially since it was muddy. But he's going to have to get better starts to get up there and have any kind of a shot at beating his teammate Carmichael. He has to know from testing that Carmichael is unbelievable, and the only way he's going to beat him is to start with him or in front of him, and the same goes for Ezra and everybody else out there.
Up around the first turn, Lusk continues to hold 3rd. Right now it's a lonely 3rd as this first moto starts to wind down.
Ezra approaching that great big Dunlop double jump, not going for it.
Flashing back, this is your 4th place rider. This is actually a surprise, I think. Robbie Rayner, the full privateer on a Honda modified by his father, Robert Sr. And right now he's putting it to about half the factory boys in the field, David.
Well, now we're starting to see some of that stuff we hear Travis Pastrana talking about all the time, going, man, I go to Rayner's house and we practice motos and he laps me. And I'm thinking, how is that possible looking at Rayner's results? But he's starting to show what he's capable of. This was the immediate pass for the lead that Ricky put on John Dowd. He'd only had a couple of corners in the books at this point. Ricky right to the inside, takes over the lead, and he's been pulling away each lap. His lap time's 3 or 4 seconds faster than the chase group, everybody other than Tortelli, who's matched it, but he's not gaining.
Carmichael has won motos here before on the 250, but he has not won an overall. As he winds his way back into the GP section on his last lap of the first 250 moto here at the Sobe High Point Nationals, giving the fans a little salute. And now it's just one straightaway to go up over the giant tunnel jump, and then it's out Bradshaw Boulevard. Ricky Carmichael, perfect so far this season, is going to put the first moto in the bag. That is 5 in a row as Carmichael takes the checkered flag.
The gap over his teammate Tortelli stayed about the same, but those two pulled away nearly 45 seconds from 3rd place Ezra Lusk.
See Lusk down in the bottom part of the track in the GP section. He's more or less by himself, and the next rider, of course, is that privateer Robbie Rayner.
Be anxious to see if he can put together another ride like that in the 2nd moto, and if he does, take a look at his riding style, because he stands an awful lot and makes the bike work underneath it. Makes it look real, almost looks like he's going slow, but 4th place out here is not slow.
Well, Robbie Rayner was always known for his good style and his bad shoulders. But 4th place here in the first moto at the Sobe High Point National. We will be right back to hear from our winners. Race wave for the 3rd round of the 2002 U.S. Motocross Championships. Well, once again, Ricky Carmichael puts it to the 39 other riders in the field. Here's what he had to say.
I felt good. You know, Sebastian was riding good. It's a good thing I got out front and got a good lead, because he was turning, you know, a little bit faster lap times than I was, and then he let off at the end. But it would feel good to win here on the 250. You know, it's always been muddy, and the track conditions haven't been too good, but you know, we'll see what happens 2nd moto.
Well, just another day at the office for Ricky Carmichael as he takes the win. Tortelli 2nd, Lusk, Raynard, and Team Yamaha's David Billman rounding out the top 5. Sean Hamlin does a good job of pulling on to 9th, and Kyle Lewis with a late fall goes back to 10th place. A little further back at 15th, you see 40-year-old Guy Cooper. Well, we also caught up with Sebastian Tortelli, and here's what he had to say about the first moto.
You know, my spin is been very good. You know, I just same speed as Ricky, and that's the problem. Maybe, you know, he just got a better start than I did, and you know, I tried to catch up, but it just was too big of a gap, and he was riding great. So you know, we were riding the same speed. So I just tried hard and tried to make it possible, but this time was not. Maybe next moto will be better.
Some upcoming races on the AMA Chevy Trucks Tour. If you want to learn more about